Hi everyone, welcome back to Tara Normal. My name is Tara. Today I wanted to talk about a subject that I've kind of had on my mind recently and pops into mind every now and then. If you've ever seen the movie Sliding Doors, it's kind of that same scenario of another reality existing beyond your own. So every decision you make, there is an opposite reaction or opposite thing that could happen. If you choose out of high school to go to college versus taking a job, there is that thought of what if. And I've thought about that. Maybe there is another you existing in another time, maybe another universe, parallel universe. And maybe that other you is doing the things that you could have done, that you had the choice to do. So, for instance, if you didn't go to college after school and you just started in a job or whatever, the opposite you would have gone to college, would have experienced different things, would have met different people, would have gotten another job, met different people in that. And it's these things that shape our lives and shape who we are as individuals. And I find it really interesting to think about. I remember my mom telling me that before they bought the house that I grew up in, they put an offer on a different house as well, and they ended up not getting it. But I think about what would have happened if they would have gotten that house. It's things that simple that could change your entire world, your entire reality. I wouldn't have had the relationships with the people that I went to high school with, or I most likely wouldn't have started the job I'm in. And there's all these little chain reactions that link one thing in your life to the other. And it all starts from one single decision. So, what if my parents had got this other house and I ended up going to another high school and I wouldn't have known all these people that I know now? It's really interesting to think about. And really sad at the same time, because I can't imagine my life without certain relationships that I have now based on who I've met and the relations I've come in contact with, based on just location and where I've grown up. And it's a really interesting thing to think about, but I think often if I were to visit my other self, my other reality, would I be happy? Would I be satisfied with what that life looks like? I came across a story online, and it's about a woman who wakes up in a time that is not her own. And it really got me thinking even more about this subject. And the story is in the perspective of a woman named Lorena Garcia, and I hope I'm getting her name right, but in July of 2008, Lorena left a comment on an online forum expressing her concern of some major life changes that took place definitely overnight. She said and described that while the year and date were the same when she went to bed the night before, the pajamas she was wearing, sheets, other subtle surroundings that she was in had all changed. She didn't think a whole lot about it once she started going about her day, maybe thinking she had done something or someone had changed some things around while she were sleeping, or maybe she just didn't remember. And it wasn't until she arrived at her job that she became a little more concerned. She realized that while she was still working for the same company, she worked in this reality in a completely different department, in a new office. Her boss was someone she had never even met before. And when she returned home, the man who she had split up with 6 months prior seemed to still believe he was in a relationship with her. Stranger, the man who she believed to be in a committed relationship with at the current time in these events was nowhere to be found. This woman went as far as to hire a private investigator to search for him, and nothing turned up. No information about this person was even existing. She was also unable to find any trace of his family, almost as though he had never existed in the first place. And she was so concerned with these events that kept taking place in her life. She was convinced she was having some sort of a mental breakdown, or, suffering from some delusion. And she ended up going to see a psychiatrist who couldn't find anything wrong with her. All these altered memories, there was no reasoning for it. The psychiatrist assumed that she was just kind of going through stress, and there was had to be some logical explanation for it. But Lorena kind of believes that she's traveled to another alternate universe, and now this woman is kind of in limbo with her life now, not knowing how to proceed with anything. And I can't imagine waking up and being in that situation, how confusing and terrifying that would all be. Imagine you not being able to find somebody that you once knew. Is a completely insane thing to even think about. The story of Lorena kind of reminds me of the book Sybil. It's the story of a girl with multiple personality disorder. She kind of has similar accounts of a changed life, waking up to everything that she knew the night before to be entirely different. Possibly Lorena had a mental disorder, just kind of altering her sense of reality. But I guess we will never know. it's just interesting to think about what a parallel universe could really be like. I guess it's a possibility. Someday science may be able to discover the possibility to be able to communicate or even travel to these alternate universes. Or I suppose it's also possible that technology already exists. We're just not kind of privy to that information. But I just think it's a really cool concept to think about. Just think of all the possibilities. And if you could look into that other you, that other universe of yourself, and discover what that could be like and what it would be like. It's just a cool thing to think about and mull over. So I don't know if it's an actual possibility. I think it's kind of slim that would be something that's out there, but I guess you really never know. There are things that we've not discovered yet, or that are starting to be discovered, but just haven't been released to the public. I guess anything is possible. So I'll leave it kind of at that. I would love to hear what you think about this subject. If you've ever thought about it before, if you've ever had any thoughts or experiences that may lead you to believe that there could be another you existing. There's also another piece that I'd like to bring up. I don't know if, say like a death could have been prevented. Maybe somebody committed suicide, or maybe somebody had a heart attack or something, that if they would have gotten help a little sooner, and it could be stopped and could be prevented. Is there another universe or another life where that person who you love passed is still existing and still living? Maybe I'm getting a little too deep into this, and I don't know where that would leave this person that's passed on in this life, if they have a different soul or what have you, that's now existing in this other realm or this other reality. Maybe that's what ghosts are, is just somebody existing in another timeline that's within our own, or right along our own, that's so vague that we can see and hear and feel these things going on around us, but they're not explainable. Maybe it's just our other self existing alongside us. Maybe that may be too far-fetched to believe, though. But I'll kind of leave it at that. Please, if you do have any comments about this, I would love to hear any reactions that you may have. Follow me along on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm Terranormal Podcast on both of those. Just hang out with me for a bit and let me know what you think about this theory or about anything else that I have discussed or will discuss in the future. I would love to know your comments and any other perspectives on these subjects. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.